Okay, and it's showing a bad connection. Not much I can do about that, so we'll just have to put up with it. Showing yours is a good connection, but it's showing on me that my is really slow. That loss on audio. And that 1.5 second delay, and that shows an 8% loss on audio. Let me flip out here real quick. I'm going to go to Firefox and see if by chance it does any better. Although I know what the give it a second. Let me drop out of that. I'm coming back in on Blackboard on Chrome just for a second. Intentionally, I forgot to problems and to submit that. That didn't help. Still throwing the same message. But I am back, so we'll continue on in just a second. Let me submit. So we'll continue on from here. Okay. Registration. So if you haven't registered for spring and you're going to be, if you're graduating this semester and you haven't applied for graduation, if you're graduating in the spring, you need to apply now also to graduate, and that's whether you're going to walk or not walk. December, they are intending to have inside and have students walk across stage in Dalton. However, two graduations. Business and computers will be at noon. I believe it's the 9th. Either the 2nd or the 9th. Whichever day it's on, it will be on at noon. The technical occupations will all be 4 o'clock that afternoon. So they're cutting it down on number of people that will be in each one of them. If you are planning to walk in December and you haven't applied yet, you need to check with Miss Emma McLean, who is the her email is graduation@gntc.edu at this point. But if you want to get your piece of paper and you're finishing, you have to apply for graduation. If you're not going to walk, there's no charge. If you're going to walk, there's either a $20 or $30 charge. So that's all going on. If you should be getting multiple pieces of paper, Alma will get multiple parts. Multiple. All right, next item. Next week, we will be doing the Tuesday sessions on Wednesday. However, Monday sessions like this one, I will be off campus all day next Tuesday. And then we should. Are there any questions for me at this point? Okay. Chapter 11 is where you are now, and it is covering Microsoft Intune. Now, I have not seen Intune used in any places that I had done work with. However, it was on the way. It's a way to manage and soften everything about those devices on your network. That's a Windows 10 network. Speaking of which, on Windows 11, in general discussion, an article about machines not being compatible with Windows 11, and they're changing the rule. That might be an interesting article to you about that. But Intune requires the use of a credit card on your devices and your client computers and stuff. I don't think it's used much because really, handle that if you're running a server on your network, it's not likely you're just running Windows 10 machines on your network. More than likely, if you're trying to manage multiple machines, you actually got a server sitting there running Microsoft Server, some version, 2012. Probably, although some are still using 2008, and some people have moved to 2019, although Microsoft certifications, etc., for 2019, which is a reason we've not gone to it. There's only been like 4 books written about it, and us figuring out how to distribute over 3 courses and the material. So people adopted it yet either, so that's the second part of that. So Intune is there, and it goes through and shows. However, there are no assignments for you to do. There are activities in the chapter, but I have not assigned any of them to use of a credit card. No on that. Whereas AWS and Google have now changed their cloud to where schools can get some access to it. Cards. Intune requires the use of a credit card. All of you do not necessarily have credit cards or debit cards, and I'll to do any of these things that require credit cards. Anyway, you can easily run up way too much, and although I know people do, since it requires a credit card, and I know some students don't have. Second thing is I don't want bills on it. In Chapter 11, there are no labs to do. None of the activities are assigned in Chapter 11. So you've got another week now that you don't have to do any labs. Big thing on Chapter 11 will be reading through the chapter, seeing about how it does manage these different things. But like I say, being that I have not run into it in use out there. But it is something that is considered important out there, so I still include it in the course, although I have not run into it and I have not used Intune. I'll go ahead and let y'all know that one. And I'm continuously learning and talking with businesses and doing some work out. So there's new things I learn every day. Computers is that something new and different to be able to try and do, and to be able to do things that we couldn't do yesterday that we can do today or tomorrow. Always fascinating to me, so I'm out there constantly learning. So that I finished a Network Plus Train the Trainer class last week. I'll take that test in a few weeks, Server Plus and Security Plus, but starting this week they started the SP Plus Train the Trainer course, which is the CompTIA Advanced Server Professional, I believe is what that stands for. Professional, Security Professional. So CompTIA Advanced Security Professional, I'm pretty sure is what the acronym is. be interesting to me, although I've had some people tell me that I actually about the stuff that's covered in that one. And they consider it to be one that you should have a master's degree and or 10 years experience to be ready for each of the schools too. So who knows? Continuously learning. Now, as far as Intune, where you would really need it. Okay, the only place that it would fit, basically, where you have all Windows 10 machines and you don't have any servers, and so you're using place and no servers. Active Directory on Windows Server will take stuff that they're talking about in here. Although Intune may have some friendliness on it that it's not there. And if you were managing a completely Windows 10 network, it could be used there. Most of the things they mention in 10, a lot of it can be server. But if you're managing a network and you want it to manage just your Windows 10 machines separately, you can. But again, I would do it almost always with Windows Server. And if you're not big, then you're probably not. You're only like 4 or 5, and you're not needing Windows Intune to keep up with what software is deployed. So it's really a client manager for a network, and most of that they're going to be using a server to manage their network that have any size of machine. And I hope that helps some on that. But Microsoft had it, and they charge on this one too. Manage not just Windows 10, but it does work with Windows 8, 7, and Vista also, and it's even included in Windows 11. All right, any other questions, comments? Also, just for your information, graded it through the end of last week. That was due last Monday or before. Did not do any grading. And I really normally don't grade things until they are already so I would restart grading what's due tonight, tomorrow normally. But I have graded a few things that were turned in earlier for the current chapter. And I'm looking to see if I see. You can use Intune to upgrade, and so I'm assuming it is deployed in Windows 11 also. So, but chapter along with last week's discussion, unless you did if you did the collaborate session live last week, then that out there. And I'll try to get that done later today. I'm trying to work on a few other things today too that I need to. So is there any other questions for me? But when I just look to see, all right, Endpoint Manager has combined Server System Center Configuration Manager. That's more for more mobile items. Manager was more back to server. So in chapter 11, we're looking at Intune. Chapter 12, you're going to look at, it looks like Hyper-V, and so you're going to be looking at virtual machines and Hyper in 12. Something real quick here, so I don't remember y'all's class. Okay, and so you've got assignments on that. But 12 is going to be getting into Hyper-V. When you get to 12, you do pay attention because I'm not assigning everything in chapter 12. That. All right. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to stop the recording to tell you have a, and I'll see y'all next Monday. I just clicked the wrong button.